You boys look like a weird heavy metal band.
Yes, we are a band.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you play?
Symphonic, post-apocalyptic, reindeer-grinding, Christ-abusing, extreme war, pagan, fennoscandic metal.
Right. Really interesting.
What's up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast, doing a interview / Twisted review for the movie Twisted 2026. Also got to sit down with director Darren Lynn Bousman, who is the director of Twisted as well as the Saw franchise. He has a lot of the credits for in the Saw series as well. Of course, it has a chapter in Tales of Halloween, the anthology, one of my favorites of all time. So it was really cool to sit down with him and just chat a little bit about his new movie as well as some of the other projects he has been involved in and just how his process is as a director and his experience so far in the world of movie directing. But before we get to all that, I want to go ahead and just go and give my review of Twisted. They did send me a screener. This will be spoiler-free, so I will not be giving any spoilers, just pretty much a breakdown of the movie, how I felt about it, what I might have liked to see in it, and, of course, my rating at the end. So, Twisted is, of course, a movie about... Let me just pull up my information here, because I should have did that first. Like a dumbass, I didn't. Just to give a little bit of a breakdown. So it's about two millennial girls who scam unsuspecting tenants by renting out expensive New York City apartments that they do not actually own. The scheme works until they encounter an apartment owner with a hidden agenda who turns the tables on them. And I want you to kind of keep that in mind because that's sort of some of my problem towards the end, but again, I'll talk as I get there with that when I start going through the movie. But first, let's go ahead and give you a trailer for this, let you see what it's all about. This is Twisted 2026, which gets released on streaming next week. I'm not sure if it's going to theaters or not. I'm not really sure, but anyway, here we go.
You're a monster.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
We were all going direct to heaven. All going direct to hell. I don't know what it is about this house. But I feel its energy. Please let me make it my home.
Deal.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're still renting out that pile of bricks.
You notice any unusual activity in the neighborhood the past couple of days?
You look worried.
What do you need with me?
A friend of mine told me that I can't save the world. I'm trying to prove him wrong.
This isn't right. You're playing God.
I'm a surgeon. God prays to me.
He's hiding something.
Act like an animal. Get treated like a woman.
You took the Hippocratic Oath. Do no harm.
You know, for you, I'm prepared to make an exception.
And there you have it. So Twisted stars Lauren Lavera, who is, of course, one of the stars of the Terrifier series franchise. Yaiman Ehusu, who was in Gladiator, Blood Diamond. He's a very great actor, very excellent in this. Gina Phillips, who you might recognize from Jeepers Creepers. Michael Lombardi from The Retaliators, directed by the Gear Brothers, guys that I know through Samurai. Alicia Witt, Urban Legend of Vanilla Sky. So we have a lot of familiar faces in here in terms of like good actors who have some good backgrounds. Now, as far as the film, the characters themselves, none of them are really good people, so they're not really redeemable in a lot of ways, but the movie kind of plays into the fact that some could be. But they're not really the greatest people, except for maybe the cops, you know. But the cops, we don't see them too often. Although Gina is part of that group, she's one of the detectives that are investigating these girls who are scammers. But the acting overall is solid. They're doing a great job in this. Very believable. Chemistry between all of them is great, especially for Lauren Lavera, as well as Mia Healy, who plays her girlfriend and co-conspirator in the scams. But I actually love them as a couple in this, but I wish that there was more of, which you'll hear a little bit from Darren when he talks about this, but I brought up how much I thought the chemistry between Mia and Lauren was really, really good in terms of even just a couple and their chemistry on screen. So I wish in this way, in some ways, this film would kind of like flesh that out a little bit. That's one of my little bit of gripes, is even the relationship between Yaiman's character and his wife is very good, played by Alicia Witt. But you don't quite get all that like you would like. So you do get a little bit of that feeling in there from Yaiman's character and his acting, but not as much as I like. So I would wish this film would have had at least like 30 minutes more to kind of flesh that out. But I know that, you know, budgets are one of the reasons that kind of hold directors back, because they only have so much time to kind of get as much as they want in there to make the film, you know, watchable and all that. So, but that's really my really gripe there with that. I would have liked to see a little more of a cat and mouse between the two girls and Yaiman's character. Once it happens, like once there's like this situation that triggers with Lauren's character, that is the reason why just everything kicks off, which makes sense. Although, you know, I didn't get to ask Darren this when we were in the interview, but he's a big Gaspar Noé fan, like in terms of like the director, French director, I think he is. Now Tony and I did a review for Lux Eterna, last year, and we had problems with that particular film. But a lot of people talk about this film, Irreversible, from the early 2000s. I have not seen that. I read about it, and it seems pretty fucking dark. I wish in some ways that Darren would have kind of stuck with that, because some of the situations in here, even though it is kind of brutal, doesn't really push the envelope as much as I would like, because I think that really, even though it was a little uncomfortable, I want to be truly uncomfortable in those situations, because I think it hits harder. But maybe that's just me. But either way, like you have this cat and mouse, because obviously the girls, Mia and her character and Lauren's character, are very smart. They've been doing this scam for a while. But Mia's character is hesitant. She's not as risky as Lauren's character. Lauren's character takes a lot of risk, and this is what sort of gets her in trouble before she ends up in the hands of Yaiman. Let me see here. But yeah, so I would have liked to see a little bit more of the cat and mouse, or like she's not quite taken yet. But again, small issue. In the ending, which I won't give away, I'll just say that I wish it would have went a different direction, but it definitely leaves you with an open ending, which again, when I talk to Darren, you'll see I ask him kind of about what the ending and what that might lead to a sequel, which kind of goes into like a whole other discussion about what Darren would like to do if he gets the chance to do it with this particular, film and franchise, if it becomes one. Which I really like his idea. I think it'd be great if he can do it, because again, the chemistry between Lauren and Mia is really, really good on screen. So they made it really work. But again, I wish there was at least 30 more minutes to kind of flesh out their characters and their relationships a little bit more, because that was really some of the strongest stuff in the film because of just how good the acting is. But with that, go out, check it out, see what you think about it. I personally give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good film. The acting is phenomenal. It's not going to really it doesn't really blow me away in terms of being one of my favorite films of the year, but certainly a very solid film and another good one under Darren's filmography as far as his director ability goes. Very nice dude. I'm going to show you the interview now that we talked, and then I'll get back to you right after we're done with that. So yeah, here's me and Darren with the interview.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. I'm digging the background.
Thank you very much.
I think I have that same display case. You can't see it, but over there somewhere. That one. Very cool, man.
Thank you so much. So thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate it very much.
Of course.
Obviously, you've done films like Saw 2, 3, and 4, Spiral, Abattoir, and then I had just watched a trailer for Death of Me, which I had not heard of before, but I'm very interested in. I like the concept of that film that you did, so I'll be looking to see that soon. But more importantly, also, we'll talk about Twisted, your new film that you got coming out. I did get a chance to check it out last night. I did enjoy it, so a very good film. You also did a segment on Tales of Halloween, which that's like my favorite anthology. I really love that anthology, and the one you did for Billy Raised Hell was amazing.
Thank you. It's funny is anthologies to me are my favorite go-to thing. Specifically as I get older and I have less and less time, I love like just putting on something quick, whether that's Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, any of those things I love. So to have a chance to jump in and do something like that was awesome. So I agree with you.
Now, you also did a video for Mudvayne some years ago. Are you a metal fan?
Yes. My first real job in Hollywood is I worked for a company called The Firm. And The Firm represented everybody from Limp Bizkit to Korn to just insane people. And so I worked in the tape room, and my job was copying VHS tapes, dubbing tapes, and dubbing new albums. And I was able to finagle my way from the mailroom into working with some of them. So I started working with Linkin Park, and then I got to direct something for Korn. And then that eventually just led me to doing music videos. So I did Static X after that. And
oh, wow.
The trajectory kind of led me into directing the Saw movies, was doing these music videos.
Yeah, so obviously you have like a big impact on the horror genre. Is that something you had kind of set out to do? Like, is that like a love for you, or is that just kind of how it played out when it came to directing?
My father and I kind of bonded over our love of movies when I was a kid. And I think like most people my age, my adolescence and childhood was kind of defined by the video store, going to Blockbuster or whatever that is every Friday night. And I think in my young, virgin eyes, when you would see the box art and you would walk in and you would find those old VHS tapes, and all you had to go on, there was no IMDb or Letterboxd. You had to look at the box art. And so to me, I'm not going to the dramas or the all that kind of stuff. I went straight to horror. And I remember very early on, like one of the first videotapes was Ghoulies or Critters, because you have like, things coming out of the toilet or these balls that are rolling. And then that led me to Elvira and seeing this beautiful big bosomed woman like on the box. And I was like, that. And so it kind of was this progression of all of these trips to the video stores that I would always go to the sci-fi horror. And so, that was kind of every weekend when I was growing up. And then that just led me into continuing that for the rest of my life. I never got off of that.
Yeah, you have a pretty big versatility about yourself when it comes to the work you do. Because even now, I just saw that you had a YouTube channel called Darren and Josh Make a Movie. So you've been doing that. So you kind of got your hands in a lot of different things. How's that experience been for you on YouTube?
Horrible. Because I'm an old dude, and I was never. I don't understand the algorithm. I don't understand the vertical.
That's me too. Yeah.
So, it's a learning experience because Josh, who's older than I am, and I are just trying to figure it out every day. Like, wait, do we do this? What do we tag? What do we put on our metadata? What do we, and it's funny because I think this is my 18th project movie. And if you would see us try to set up our podcast, we are two old dudes that have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And we're like, wait, what do we set our frame rate at? Wait, the sound's not syncing. And we are bumbling idiots. Even though we've made movies, Josh and I both made a ton of movies, but I just hire people smarter than me to make me look good. YouTube is a different thing because it's us doing it, and we're doing everything from, luckily that's wrong. We're not doing everything. We have a group, an army behind us of young kids that we have pulled from the intrawebs to help us make us look better. But it's been a learning experience for sure. It feels like film school again, trying to do these podcasts.
Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of fun for sure. So obviously you've got a new movie coming out called Twisted. So without giving out too much away, can you kind of just give us a breakdown what the movie's about and how you came with the concept of doing it?
No one, I didn't realize when I started off making movies, how much of it is not directing, how much of being a director is politicking or, the business side of it. And part of being a director is you're on a project for years before it ever goes to production. And then it might be years before the movie ever comes out. So you're there. And so much of that on either side of the movie making process is politicking. So with this movie, it was originally called Monster. I was attached to it in early pandemic, and it just took us forever to get off the ground. You had to, you have that whole thing of you have to attach the actors, and then you've got to raise the financing based on that. But for me on this one, the reason that I was willing to dedicate the time and resources was I was so taken aback by the script. And if you were to read the script, and I think that it was the first of its kind, like I'd read like that it was, there are different styles of writing. You get, depending on what screenplay you read, some screenplays are very technical. It'll say, it's very minimalistic in the way it's written. This was not that at all. The script, sorry, my screen key. I have a huge screen that wraps around me. So if I open any window, it blows me out. So give me 1 second here. I just want to fix this.
Yeah, I always try to put them on a dark mode because my face just goes white.
Hold on 1 second.
You're good.
You read the script on this one. It is it's fun. It is a fun read. Because it reads like I don't know how to describe it, almost like Ocean's 11. James Greer and this guy Jonathan Bernstein, who wrote it, ironically worked with Steven Soderbergh. And I don't know if this story is out, and maybe I shouldn't be telling it, but I don't give a fuck. Before I directed it, Steven Soderbergh was attached to it, and it was for him. I think they wrote it for Steven Soderbergh. So when you read it, it reads very much like Ocean's 11 in the very beginning. And so when I was reading it after Soderbergh left the project and it was sent to me, and by the way, I will always take Steven Soderbergh's sloppy second. So if he's got other stuff, just please send it my way. But I read it, and it reads fun, and you're smiling as you're reading it. It's this quirky heist film. And then it slowly becomes something else. And then next thing you know, you're in a horror film, and that wasn't how it started. And I just loved that. I thought they did a really great job of threading that needle, because if they didn't, it would have been a terrible thing. And I love that idea of starting this movie off quirky and fun, and then it becomes something else entirely in the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. So when, obviously, do you have like any particular ritual you go through when you're kind of putting a movie together, or is it just kind of like you already know what your set thing is and you just go by that?
No, every movie is different. There's never been a movie that I feel feels formulaic, except the Saw movies. I think the Saw movies were so dialed in that by the time we were filming them, it felt like a well-oiled machine. But that's the only time in my career. Outside of that, every movie is different and every approach is different. This one was no different than that. Like we shot it in Connecticut, and it was when you make a movie, it's a collaborative effort. You've got the producers, you have the studio, you have the actors, and you start bringing in people that all have these ideas. Then you have the reality of the budget, and the budget I've never been on a movie where the budget allowed me to do the thing which the ideas are. So you have to start picking out, like, where are your battles? What are you going to fight for?
Yeah.
I think as an editor more than anything. So I always look at how I'm going to edit the movie together. So like in the very beginning, I'm using split screens. Like it does these like split screens around. So like when I approached this one, I was approaching it very much as what the edit was going to be. But not all movies are like that. Like every single one is different. And I feel like that's why I like directing, is it never feels redundant to me. It always feels like I have to be on my toes. So yeah, this is, there is not, at least for me, been that formula that I've been able to figure out. It always feels like the first time when I'm doing a film.
I guess that's good. It kind of keeps you motivated to keep going. So you did put together a pretty nice cast here. You got Lauren Lavera, and I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he's a great actor. Demian Hunsu?
Jaimin Hunsu.
Jaimin Hunsu, okay. Gina Phillips, Michael Lombardi, of course, Alicia Witt. When you go into a film like this, did you have in mind people you wanted to work with, or is it still just like an auditioning process? You say, hey, we're doing this film. Can you come check out and see if you want to be in it? How does it work for you with that?
Kind of like the same thing what I was saying earlier. There's no one way that's ever worked. Every movie comes together differently. And with this one, what I like to try to do, and it's always the way that I try to approach every project, is I want to work with people that I like or I respect. To me, it's much easier for me if I have a relationship, even if I don't know them, I have a relationship with them through watching them. So we'll start with the very first person that I went for was Lauren Lavera. She was my only choice. The only choice that I had for this movie was Lauren. I love the Terrifier franchise. And listen, I say this a lot. Like, I love David Howard Thornton. I love Art the Clown. But that wasn't, to me, what made the movie work. She did, because without that counterbalance of the drama with the comedic and the gore, it wouldn't have worked. And the fact that she had to juggle the ability to share the scenes with someone as big as Art the Clown and make it work, she stood out to me. It was like a spotlight on her.
Yeah.
So that was my big fight. I was like, I want Lauren for this movie. It was, number one, a fight to get her to connect with her and get her to read it. Number two, to get everyone to sign off, because no one, people like us love movies like Terrifier, but a lot of times the people that are financing, or they don't know Terrifier. They might have seen the trailer, they might have heard the idea about it, but I'm like, this is the girl. Jaimin was brought up to me, and honestly, I didn't think of Jaimin, and then I had a Zoom with him, and I was like, absolutely. There's a regalness about him when he enters the room. He's got this weight, and it's this like, I feel the same thing that Tobin Bell has. He quiets
commanding presence. Yeah,
there is this presence, and I think why I can barely form a sentence, and this guy speaks like 7 languages. So when
oh my god,
there is. He just is this educated guy, and you feel kind of dumb around him because he's so smart, and he's quiet, and he's reserved, and he thinks, and you can see the wheels turning. And the minute I spoke to him on Zoom, I was like, this is the guy. The one I'm really excited about putting in the movie. And I love Neil McDonough, and Gina Phillips I've always been a fan of, but the one person that I'm very excited about is a lesser known person named Jacob Anderson, who plays Crace in the movie, who is a rapper. And I am a huge hip hop head. I fucking love rap. And I've been following his music, and I reached out to him out of nowhere about a year and a half ago. And I said, if I find a movie, you're in it. And I think he was like, yeah, whatever. He didn't believe me. And then I get this movie set up, and I was like, I need you in this movie. And I think he thought he was going to come do like a walk-on cameo or something. And then I sent him the script, and he's like, yo, motherfucker, I'm in a lot of this thing. I've never acted. And I was like, you got this, dude. And I want everyone that's listening right now to go look up Prof and watch his videos. He is fucking hilarious. He's awesome. I want everyone to go watch Prof's Squad Goals. Just go watch it, Squad Goals, and watch that video. He plays Mr. Rogers in it. That's why I cast this guy. I was like, he's my dude.
That's awesome. So yeah, you were pretty excited about Lauren as well. I actually thought the chemistry between her and Mia were great. Like, I really enjoyed the chemistry they had on the screen. And going back to Yaiman, like, you mentioned how he has like this presence, and I liked how you did these moments in your editing where he's kind of calm when he's like looking at somebody, but then like there's like the shift to when his like inner self and he's angry and he wants to just lash out. So I really appreciated how you brought that to screen and conveyed both sides of his personality there.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, listen, so much of that is him. Like, you know, my kind of role as a director, as I see it, is to hire the people that know what they're doing. And I step back and let them do what they do well. And I think when you bring someone like Jaimin on, this guy, there's a reason he's been nominated for multiple Academy Awards. I remember the first day of shooting with him, he had a scene with Alicia Witt, and it's, he's sitting on the couch and he's thinking about his wife, and then she's beside him and tears just start falling down his face. So when you do a movie, you get 12 hours usually from the moment you arrive to when you have to leave. And that includes a lunch. You have to have a lunch in there, and there's load in and load out. And as a director, you come in with a shot list and you have an idea and you say, okay, we're going to spend 4 hours on this scene. And I remember that was his first day and I wanted 4 hours. Well, let's cut to everything derails on a movie set. You run over, nothing goes as planned. And I think we had 40 minutes to shoot what should have been 4 hours in. And so Jaimin has been sitting in his trailer all day. And I'm like, we have 40 minutes to shoot you. And I come out and I was like, yo, here's what I'm looking for. And I was like, how the fuck are we going to get this? He's like, okay, I got it. And he sits down, and on take one, tears just start coming down his face. And that's what I think. When he shows up on set, there is this weight, this gravitas, and you're like, yeah. And everyone rises to his level, I think, when that happens. So he was just an awesome dude, and he's got so many awesome stories. I remember sitting there talking to him about Gladiator and just hearing this guy's stories of he's been in superhero movies, he's been in art house films, he was a fun dude.
Awesome. So yeah, again with Lauren, like obviously you kind of bragged about her on Instagram and stuff like that before the premieres of the film. Is there anybody you haven't worked yet with that you would love to work with?
Yeah, I have a list of people. There's obviously the big actors that I would love to do, but some people that I'm friends with that I've got to put into something that we've yet to is Michael Rooker. First guy that I met in Hollywood. He was my first real friend in Los Angeles, and it's just never worked out. We've never found the time or film yet, and I think that's going to change this next movie I'm doing. So Michael Rooker is someone because, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer was a huge inspiration. My son is named Henry. Like, it is, that film had such a profound impact on me because it was the first real movie that I can remember really upsetting me. That and Cannibal Holocaust were the two movies that I remember that made me gutturally angry. And then I got to know the guy, and he's this hilarious, funny. Oh, something funny I just found. Hold on. I was cleaning my office the other day and I found this. And it says, to Darren, good luck. See you at the movies, Michael Rooker.
Nice.
That was on the first day I met him in Hollywood. So Michael Rooker, someone I would love to work with. I have another strange one that is just me as a kid growing up. There's an actor, William Forsythe. Most people know Devil's Rejects. But when I was a kid growing up, he was a character actor that was in some of my favorite movies, from Raising Arizona to Dick Tracy. He played a flat top in Dick Tracy.
Wasn't he in Out for Justice as well? Steven Seagal.
Seagal, absolutely. And he's got this, like, it was the first time I really kind of understood processed the craft of acting, because he was not like, I'm as huge into martial arts, and you brought up Steven Seagal. So when you look at someone like Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme, they are the stars. You recognize them. They are the people that are in those movies. But then you look at someone like William Forsythe. He's not the star of the movie. He's the guy next to the star or the villain, and he's a chameleon. He would change his appearance, the way he acted, the way he looked. And I just kept remembering responding to his roles in different movies. And then I remember he was in a TV series called Capone way back in the day. And I remember just like being addicted to that show as a kid growing up. And I finally just met him at a convention and I geeked out. I was like, dude, I got to work with you, because he had an impact on those movies that I used to respond to as a kid, but he's not the main guy. But like I said, it's a combined effort of everyone in a movie to make it work. And I realized that, like, I mean, Out for Justice, perfect example. He's my favorite part of that movie. So yeah, I am a William Forsythe fan.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be great. I know you did, like, on your podcast there on YouTube, a little interview with Danielle Harris. Have you worked with her yet?
No, we were both in the same show. I can't think of the name of it. Adam Green's show, Holliston, but on different episodes. No, she's someone that I've known for a long time. The horror community. I don't know what part of where do you live? What part of the world?
I'm actually in Delaware now. I used to be in Baltimore, but now I'm over in Delaware.
So Hollywood is a very small community. The horror community is even smaller. And so everyone kind of knows everyone. So when I was kind of coming up in the Saw universe, she would always be at the same parties. She came to a lot of my events that I would have, and we became friends, but there's just never been that role yet that she works for. That's going to change with the Darren and Josh Make a Movie, which is what I want Michael Rooker for as well. So yeah, she will.
Nice.
We're working together soon.
Last question for you before I let you go. So the ending of Twisted is kind of open-ended. Is there a possibility for a sequel to that?
You know, listen, you never know. I'll tell you what I'm a big fan of. I brought him up once. I'm going to bring it up again, as Rob Zombie's movies. When he did a movie called House of a Thousand Corpses, and then he made Devil's Rejects, it's my favorite sequel to any movie because it was so vastly different and the character was different. There is great chemistry in our movie between Lauren Lavera and Mia Healy, who plays Smith. And we started realizing very early on that I want to see more of them. And I had this idea very early on, if I were to do a Devil's Rejects House of a Thousand Corpse thing, go backwards in time and do a movie called Baltimore, where I wanted to do a Bound meets Thelma and Louise of these two girls meeting and committing a series of crimes, because they talk about Baltimore a lot in the movie. And I thought that would have been a fun thing. So if I was given the opportunity, I would do a Devil's Rejects on it, change it, and make a psychosexual crime drama of these two girls and call it Baltimore. So we've talked about it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, sir, for talking with me. I appreciate your time. Good luck with the film, and good luck to your future projects.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. You too.
Thank you.
All right. So there you go. So understandably, like, usually I like to try to do my interviews much longer if I could, but this was a situation where he's doing a press day for Twisted and I was doing it through Zoom through on their end. So, but many thanks to Darren and his people for allowing me to sit down with him and interview him for this. It was a load of fun. Very nice guy, very knowledgeable. And he has a lot of great ideas. So obviously you heard towards the end there, he is a big fan of Devil Rejects, which I am too, because like I think that's actually the best of the trilogy for a zombie. And that, even though House of a Thousand Corpses is good, Devil Rejects was different. It was more of an action thriller type of film as opposed to the first film. So yeah, if he gets a chance, I hope he makes a prequel to Twisted with Lauren and Mia, because I think that would be kind of cool. To give us some insights on that relationship and how they came together and all that. So, but again, many thanks to Darren for sitting down with me. I hope that you all go out there and check out Twisted. Very good acting in this film. Very cool film. So highly recommended. And thank you very much again. Like and subscribe. Hit me up with any comments, questions you have for me, and I'll try to answer them when I can. But thanks for the support. See you next time on the Metal Time Radio Podcast.
You see before you die. voice of the